We're talking about Mosconi 30 years. It now has history.
It doesn't matter what I do in pool, nothing will top that.
The players are not playing for themselves, they're playing for something that's at a greater level.
Nobody can prepare you for that stuff, you have to experience it.
Come a long ways. I'm sure it's going to get bigger.
Ask all the players all around you, what is the biggest event in the world? Everybody will say Mosconi Cup.
Everybody dreams about playing in the Mosconi Cup.
The really exciting question is, where will this sport be in the next 30 years? It all started in the real world of television, the real world of sport. It started with the Mosconi Cup.
I remember somewhere along the line, Barry going to me, Sky don't want snooker anymore. The bloke who runs snooker thinks that it doesn't fit his demographic. He went, oh, you don't want snooker? Well, I've got this other game.
The first ever Willie Mosconi Cup.
I went to like Steve Davis's hometown, Romford, like he's called the Romford Slim, right?
The first year when Jimmy White and Alex Higgins and myself were drawn in as mercenaries because the British public wouldn't have known the European players on block.
We didn't know what's going on, so we were invited for the event, and then we saw the arena. We thought we were playing in Wimbledon, and the atmosphere was so great. For the Europeans, it was an honor to compete against the American because they were our heroes.
It was always an honor to represent the team, and just when I got invited the first time, I was like really nervous and excited at the same time.
So we were there right at the start to try and educate a new audience about a game. The trouble was, we didn't know much about it ourselves, and at the start we were just like, kids at the game.
Steve Davis finding one way to win the match.
I remember the bartender we had up there. There was a barkeeper, and he was serving drinks, and they were smoking during the match and everything, so it was a different time.
Mark Wilson to win it all. Down it goes! The Americans have done it. It's been a tremendous competition, but Mark Wilson and Lou Botera have beaten Steve Davis and Jimmy White 2-0. Was that not wonderful?
The learning curve was very steep, but we had some good teachers. Some of the German lads, they really helped us, no end. Oliver Altman, the Ralph Souquet.
You don't play for yourself, you play for the team, you play for Europe. Everybody in the house was cheering for me.
He wants this as badly for himself and the Europeans as anything in a long time. We could be about 11 seconds. We count in 9. Right.
You can count it now, Sid.
5, 4, 3.
Jimmy's done it.
Mosconi Cup to Europe! Thanks to the whirlwind! Accepts an early Christmas present! Pandemonium!
To start with, it meant nothing. It was just a bit of fun.
They were just kind of winging it at that point and building the legacy.
I realised that, if this was going to be done year on year, it could get a following.
In the early days of Mosconi, we went with Davis, we went with Jimmy White, we went with Alex Higgins because we needed to say, please, TV, punters, look at us, give us some of your time. And it worked.
I'm Earl Strickland, 9-time Mosconi Cup winner. When we first heard about it, he wouldn't pay us enough. None of the good players, the top players, would go because they didn't think it was enough money. So they got a kind of a secondary team. My first experience in the Mosconi Cup that year in 1996. I'd never seen a crowd that hostile in my life.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Me and CJ wanted to fight everybody. We're supposed to be the best players in America, and we're supposed to win, and we did for a long time.
And look at the Americans, USA, USA!
Mosconi to the States yet again! Center pocket, arms in the air, the victory dance.
Well, Earl Strickland is the Alex Higgins of pool. It was wonderful watching him interacting with his teammates because some of them obviously had beef with him in the past. And then all of a sudden, they have to try and bond with a guy who's very much of a sort of maverick.
I wasn't there as a player. I was there as a motivator too. But they used to criticize me for it, that I was too hard about it, But in the Mosconi Cup, you got to pay attention.
It's there, and Earl Strickland in his first year as captaincy. once again, USA victorious. Nobody would have thought they would have done it as emphatically as they have.
I'm Mike Pinozzo. I'm the editor and publisher of Billiards Digest magazine. I've been with the magazine for 43 years covering the pool industry. In those early years, for the Americans, they just kind of went in like, we're supposed to win. We're going to beat these guys to death. Everybody here hates us. We love that part about it. And the Europeans came in like, we just want to develop this following and help build the game in Europe. I mean, Alex, Jimmy White, Ronnie O'Sullivan, they all kind of took their turn, but for them it was purely exhibition.
From the world of snooker, 21 years of age, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Europe would be 12-9 in the Mosconi.
The pool players understood the reason that the snooker players were there, and I think the snooker players, particularly Steve Davis, understood that it was actually important to the pool players.
I was delighted to be part of it, and I tried to learn my trade, to switch sports, to switch cue ball games, and they are vastly different.
Yeah, we felt that, snooker players they're not even pool players, but, they shoot straight, but they really didn't know the game. Steve Davis knew the game better than anybody I've ever seen as far as a snooker player.
Yeah, I dabbled a bit. We'd done a couple of other things in the past. I knew it was a clever game, but I didn't know what I was letting myself in for.
Steve Davis, I think, over the years, took it more upon himself to become a better player, to understand the game a little better. I think he got a big kick out of it.
This is something where you're totally committed, body and soul, heart and mind. And it means more to you than you know until that moment, especially someone who is quite emotional anyway, like Fabio Petroni. Put him in a competitive environment when he really, really wanted to win, and when he did, the relief on his face and the tears came. And that's natural, and I think fans and TV viewers, they view that, and those type of moments live in the memories, but they actually mean something.
And the American pool-playing legend, Willie Mosconi, must be smiling down from that pool room in the sky. The Mosconi Cup stays in America.
12 in a row for America.
European players, they didn't like the Americans. And first of all, I thought, I like them, they're nice people, they're getting on well, I have no axes to grind at all. But then after getting beaten a few years on the trot, when it went to York Hall, I started to dislike them as well. They started to be really nasty people.
In 2001, the US had won 12-1. They lost the first match and then won 12 on the trot, and it was over a day early, and Barry had openly concerned comments about the future of the Cup if Europe's not competitive.
Then, finally, at one stage at York Hall, we got our act together and we became a team, a proper team for the first time.
No doubt who the crowd at York Hall supports. They're almost 100% behind the 6 European stars who faced the same 6 Americans that humiliated them 12 months ago.
In 2002, that was the famous Earl Strickland, Hill match. The US had Strickland at the table and they had Johnny Archer on deck, who was unbeatable in those days. And so it was a critical match.
This is one tough shot, Sid.
On right words.
Earl has missed this shot.
Oh my goodness! He feathered it! The Euro team can't believe it! Knocking the Americans! Davis can now step in and win the Mosconi Cup!
I wish I could take a shot or two back. I scratched 2 rails in the corner. I haven't forgotten that since it happened. I think about it every day.
Earl missed that back cut into the top corner, and Steve just kind of marched up to the table and just fired in the last 3 balls.
Steve Davis brings the Mosconi Cup home to the shores of Europe with the drop of this 9 ball.
Yes! Siree! Bob tag! President Bush!
And these young European players on the sidelines, they were out of their minds. And they stormed in and picked Steve up, and it was just one of those classic pool moments.
Are you watching in the White House? Are you watching on the West Coast and the East Coast? Are you watching in Manila? Efren and the boys. The Americans go out because Europe has got the Mosconi.
Are you watching on the East Coast? Are you watching on the West Coast? And it sort of Great commentators make moments great.
That year was one of the most amazing performances and tournaments I've ever played in, and I very rarely cried or had tears as a player, but when we beat the Americans, we were all crying our eyes out. It was amazing, and we partied all night long. It was light before we got to bed.
Romford Slim takes Europe to victory!
The actual creation of history always involved the principal concept of home and away. So in 2003, the Mosconi Cup headed to Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas, it brought the U.S. fans and the U.S. pool community into the equation.
Team USA celebrates a Mosconi Cup win.
Home and away, you know, really violently pro one team and against the other team. Fantastic TV.
It certainly just gave it the credible side of professional pool.
The Mosconi Cup for 2005 stays on North American soil.
I played well, I got MVP, and I got the final 9. I got 1, and that's all I wanted.
The thing that Earl's got to concentrate on is keep his mind at what he's doing. Forget about the crowd.
I was playing one night, and the TVs had gone off, though. I think it was late. And some chum up there in the fans was mimicking my name. It was getting to me, and I started bawling. So I walked over to the edge of the arena, and I said, come on down here and let's dance. I'm gonna kill you. Barry wanted to see me in the office. Boy, he's gonna kick me off the team. He's gonna kick me off the cup. And I walk in, and I go, I know you're mad at me. And he goes, what? I'm not mad at you. I says, I thought you were gonna kick me off the team because I gave a fan some flack out there. He says, no, I'm not mad about that. He said, I just called in to tell you, if you're ever gonna do that again, wait till the TV's on.
And he doesn't have to do anything special with the white, Jerry.
Oh, he just broke his cue. He's just snapped his cue. Look at this.
He was always plotting to make it more exciting. He has a great imagination, Barry.
We're only limited by our own imagination. I think this event can be huger than huge. Of course, I'm a promoter. What would you expect me to say?
And I think this one's done, Jerry.
It may well be.
And the score will read 12-12 in 2006.
After 30 years, the journey is not even really started to revolutionise the sport of pool. Our invitation to greatness comes with a ticket to the Mosconi Cup.
Tony the Tornado, talk to me about your earliest memories of the Mosconi Cup.
Crazy.
Tony Drago at his best.
He's got to do some magic, and boy, does he.
Watch this 9.
Oh, that has really got to hurt you.
And this is definitely going to put Tony Drago in good stead. Look at him, he's on fire.
In Vegas, I never played in such a tournament of such a magnitude.
There was an opportunity for him to try and make some money in the pool world, and he grasped it, and more importantly, he embraced the game.
Drago was an attacking player. He was the tornado. You know, he was like, played very quickly, frames disappeared before you notice it.
Arguably, his talent was better suited to 9-ball than actually snooker, and I think he really loved it.
When you turn pro in snooker, you turn pro to play the Crucible. When you turn pro in 9-ball, everyone will say to you, Mosconi Cup. So I always wanted to play the Mosconi Cup. But I must admit I got scared when I got the call. I said, listen, and I said, I'm either going to cost you the Mosconi Cup or I'm going to win you the Mosconi Cup. I said, because I never felt this scared in my life.
Your eyes do not deceive you. Tony Drago has just won 5 racks in a row and taken out Rodney Morris 6-5. The Tornado has kept the European train on its tracks.
Thank God, you know, I played the best pool of my life. I never played as good as that.
Celebration starts now. History made here in Malta.
You know, after the 2006 disaster, I had a sabbatical in 2007.
He's missed it, but how's the speed? He needs it up and away from that pocket. He tosses the rest down.
But then, 2008, I got some monkeys off my back, and I won like so many tournaments that year. So I definitely there was no question of whether I deserved to be on a team again. But then, to abolish some of those demons from 2006 to get MVP 2008.
And for the first time, Europe defend the Mosconi Cup. A resounding 11-5 win for Team Europe over Team USA.
It was obviously one of the biggest things that ever happened in my career, and just I was super proud of that moment.
It was still very new to me. I didn't really feel like a 9-ball pool player. It all happened very quick.
So many great players in the UK now, and Carl Boys heads the list. Europe's #1.
And I remember thinking, oh, these guys have, won world titles, world 9-ball champions, played in many Mosconi Cups, they've seen it all, done it all. I remember the first rack I played, I just kept praying I didn't really get a shot. I hoped my opponent just cleared the table so I could go and sit back down.
What a performance for Carl Boys. The thunderous applause.
So I think that was the year where Europe sort of all gelled well.
This was at a time when the European players were starting to become the best individual players in the world.
The Kaiser, 42 years of age, gives us a Mosconi Cup for the ages. They will be dancing in the streets of East London tonight. Europe wins their 5th Mosconi Cup on home soil.
Just in Europe, there are more great players than in America.
They have flipped the script.
The dark days of American domination in this competition seem years away.
Of that, there is no doubt. Bring them all down. The Mosconi Cup stays in Europe.
Emily Fraser, and I'm the Managing Director of Matchroom Multisport.
Good evening, pool fans all around the world. Welcome to the Alexandra Palace.
Alexandra Palace, it feels like that's, in my term, where it kind of began for the Mosconi Cup.
Triumph at the Alexandra Palace.
I remember trying to do absolutely everything for Team USA to be competitive in the tournament.
The reason why the Americans have gone down a bit is that Matchroom is not an American company. Because if that was the case, I think it would have been on the television more. And I think at some stage they lost the TV contracts out in America. And then because of that, there was no prize money. The players evaporated.
The competition over here in Europe is bigger than in America, I would say. And that's why they are probably the favorites in all Mosconi Cups, because they are living with all the pressure.
Barry even turning around and saying to me, you've got to do something here because Sky will drop this if it's too one-sided.
It was important for the US to show some moxie and to show some courage and to stand up. For them to do it in Ali Pali in London was classic.
It's the 2018 Mosconi Cup!
What a shot! Shane Van Boning and Team USA. Unbelievable finish to the 25th anniversary of the Mosconi Cup.
That's the ultimate sit down and shut up, we just won type of moment. It swelled the American pride and the American interest from the fan base even more for 2019. And so, you used to see crowds in the UK at this level, and the US was here. It was still getting bigger and loud, but it wasn't at the same level. After 2018, when it got to 2019, they're pretty much here at this point.
And to know that each year the spectator grows. Every year, except from COVID year, of course, with 0. Players are walking out and you can feel in your body the awkwardness. And it was awkward. It was so awkward. You're just sitting there going, oh gosh. So it's a completely different feeling as to how it feels with the crowd. And that just shows how much atmosphere that the crowd bring to this particular event. It's not the same Mosconi, But it still is the Mosconi, there's still a lot of pressure.
After day one, you know, me and Alex had a chat with the lads and we thought we've got to do something here because there's nothing we can do. There's no, obviously, crowd atmosphere, but there's still pressure. You're still playing, you know it's on TV, you know, you still want to win the cup, so we decided to just go mental.
Losers in London, vanquished in Vegas, but now it's a reclaim at the Rico as Europe win back the Mosconi Cup.
We were just acting like on a Tuesday night we've won the local league cup, and I think that's what worked in the end.
I think the COVID edition was just something, you know, to get past our challenges, and it was a huge accomplishment from the multi-sport team.
Team Europe!
These days it's much more advanced. You have to pick the best players on merit.
That's what the whole World 9-Ball Tour is working towards. The qualifications of getting into the event, which is a really great system that we have now, and it leads the drama for the whole year leading into the Mosconi Cup.
The players all over the year are working and practicing hard to get points to the ranking, to get invited for the Mosconi Cup.
The sort of last tournament of the year is the big one. You know, the players travel all year trying to qualify, and there's a certain point of the year where, you know, the pressure really intensifies.
It's more pressure than playing for yourself in a tournament.
I'm playing for myself in snooker. Okay, if I win, it's nice. If I lose, I'll deal with it my own way. But imagine if you miss an easy ball and you have 4 guys and a captain waiting for you. You know, it's horrible.
For all of the players all over the world, all over Europe, the most important thing for them is playing at the Mosconi Cup.
There's a lot more pressure onto the players, which is exciting to see. But they all want to get into this event because it's a career changer.
Europe, get ready to celebrate.
The 2021 Mosconi Cup winners.
From the first ball, you're just under severe pressure and you just don't want to let your teammates down.
It's by far the biggest event in pool, and it always will be.
Well, you might age 3 or 4 years in that event, maybe more. It's a stressful event.
There's one man to pot a ball. It is Joshua Filler. This for the title. Europe reigns supreme again.
This is the precursor for the next level of expansion. I think there will be the winner of the Mosconi against Asia or against the Philippines at some stage as a different tournament.
I'd have loved to have seen the America versus the Philippines, Europe versus the Philippines.
There's definitely something on another event to do with Asia versus the Mosconi Cup winner, and that's all part of the bigger plan.
What we've got here is something very special. It's taken 30 years to get it where it is. The real exciting question is, where will this sport be in the next 30 years?
Keep pushing on, we make it bigger, we make it better. 9-Ball Pool mainstream.